Guy, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Greg, for having me on your show.
Tetra Bio-Pharma's drug discovery and development program is focused on cannabinoid-based treatment options for a variety of health issues. Let's start with a brief overview of your current pipeline.
Well, basically, as a company, we've been targeting chronic pain and acute pain, and our strength has been developing cannabinoid prescription drugs for inhalation. So our lead products, we have two of them. We have COMS, which is a synthetic, you could say kind of a drug that mimics smoking cannabis. So it's all based on synthetics, and this product is basically going to be entering a phase 2/3 clinical trial in the United States, which is our pivotal trial for drug registration. In parallel, the FDA we're very happy that they agreed, I guess, with the quality of our file and to our safety data, and they allowed what we call the Plenitude trial, which uses basically a dry bud delivered using the Mighty Medic, a vaporizer, in the clinical trial, and we'll be running another phase 2 trial for that, basically assessing and showing the safety and efficacy in patients with advanced cancer pain.
What's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in Tetra Bio-Pharma today?
Well, Tetra Bio-Pharma is a company that's really focused all of its energy initially on developing inhalation drugs for patients. Our first product is called COMS. It's a product that's entering a phase 2/3 clinical trial with the FDA. If it's successful in that trial and basically beating placebo, then obviously we're then proceeding to the market. We also expect expedited review because we're talking about advanced cancer patients with a incurable cancer. The second product that we have is called QuickSleep. It's the original PP01 that a lot of our shareholders came into the company hoping we would bring that to the market. The FDA just basically, in our minds, revived this. We had to handle an impurity, got that settled to convince the FDA on the quality and safety. They authorized the clinical trial phase 2. And that's a product, in my mind, that's really going to be important for people that believe in using, say, the natural form of cannabis, not the synthetic, because it's basically a dry bud in a vaporizer. The third reason to come in, the FDA just granted us an orphan drug designation for what we call HCC011. It's basically an inhaled THC drug that's for liver cancer. And we think that's going to be a very interesting product for patients because, one, THC has been shown to stop tumor progression, so that's key, but also because it's going to be inhaled, so anybody that has nausea, vomiting, and obviously the liver cancer, which they have problems swallowing, will now have another option which will help them basically with their symptoms as well as the disease. And then we offer obviously an ophthalmic pipeline, so we've been developing drugs for treating ocular pain in conditions like uveitis, painful dry eye. We met with the FDA on June 17th, and they basically validated our entire drug development program, which we are executing, which is actually the news release of this morning. We're announcing that we had created a sterile facility to be able to prepare the drugs for administering, and now we're basically executing everything and should be in clinical trials by Q3 of this year.
Now, Guy, how big is the market opportunity?
Well, you're talking about $1 billion market. The pain market can grow up to easily to $10 billion. So conservatively, we're looking at maybe just stealing a $2 billion part of that market that will be ours.
Talk to us a little bit also about your business model. Do you plan to bring your products to market directly, or will you partner with larger biopharmas?
Well, our vision has always been to partner with big pharma. Obviously, they take their time because it's a question of assessing the risk of bringing these drugs to the market. So as we get more success in moving these forward closer to drug registration, I think this is when big pharma is going to become more interested in negotiating deals. But that's been our vision. We obviously look at having our own ability to sell in Canada, the country basically where we are. And that's important to these big pharmas. The more we learn on how to make the pitch to physicians and explain, we kind of reduce the complexity for them then to pick up the bar and sell globally.
Guy, what milestones are you looking forward to in 2020?
Well, some of the key milestones for us is going to be the FDA approving the clinical trial for COMS. That's an important one. Getting feedback from the US FDA as well into all the requirements for filing the marketing application. That to me is the real milestones that really define our first product going to the market. Obviously, achieving completion of our what we call the IND enabling tox studies that will allow the FDA to approve our ophthalmic trial as well in the United States. And the other ones are obviously executing on the Plenitude trial, which is a trial that was approved just before Christmas by the FDA, which is the one for the quick sleep, the dry bud cannabis drug. Those are, I think, are essentially the key milestones that shareholders will want to see us execute on.
Tell us a little bit about your management team. Who are some of the key players?
The key players are myself, so I'm a regulatory expert and toxicologist by training. We bring in people like Steve Neron, who comes over 32 years in big pharma on the commercial side, marketing expert. That's key for us. Many errors I've seen in biotech is you don't prepare for the commercial world. And then, you license a drug, and the next thing you know, at the end of the years, you don't have a single check for the royalties, and that's because the pharma has to do all of the work. So we brought him in early on to be able to ensure we're ready, and the day we, kind of pass the buck to them, that we also start to see the checks come in. And that's been key. And then we have Richard on our natural health product side that spent multiple years in that space of commercializing our products like Away. That's what we wanted, to sell that. And we have a chief financial officer that's also seasoned, comes from the industry, knows very well all the rules of the TSX. And that's basically it. And then on the director's level and lower, we always bring in people from pharma with the expertise in clinical research, regulatory, and compliance. We have a vice president of compliance that has same thing, 20 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. And that's been our model. Bring in the people that have done it before, have the expertise, and basically deliver.
To recap, Guy, what's the main takeaway for investors?
Main takeaway is we're close to the end. To me, I tell people this is the year of transformation, where Tetra goes from being a biotech company to becoming a biopharma. And we're at the end for some of these drugs. So for us, it's kind of just preparing to commercialize. Hope our data will convince the regulators. They'll inspect us, that we've followed all of the regulations in terms of GMP, GCP compliance. And basically, at the end, just give us a report card that's stamped with a nice go.
It's a great story, Guy. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.